Your name is in all capitals this week.
I know I did it accidentally, and I don't know how to change it.
I think you're trying to show that you're more important than I am.
Maybe so. I don't know. I don't know how to change it. At any rate, whatever it is that I intended to do, I can't switch it now. I don't know how.
Tech whiz Anthony Arkin.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me open up my beverage.
What are you having there?
Oh, I'm just having a grapefruit soda, a sparkling water.
Nice.
I'm not advertising advertently. It's an inadvertent advert.
Inadvertent product placement.
Yeah.
Nice.
Ooh, listen to that.
Nice cocktail. The sound of the fizz.
Yeah, that's great.
You got a fizz sound? I got some ice clinking.
I got that too.
Oh, very nice.
Very civilized.
Yes. Cocktail hour.
Time for Timecop.
Time for Timecop cocktails. Yeah.
And that's our show.
Yes. I'm having a cocktail I've never had before.
What are you having?
I'm having something I read about called a corpse reviver number 2.
Oh, I've heard of that.
It's very tasty. I've never had one. It tastes actually a little dangerous because it tastes kind of like there's absolutely no alcohol in it.
It's one of those. I've had those kinds of drinks before. I try not to have them if I can avoid it.
Equal parts gin, Cointreau, Lillet Blanc, and lemon juice.
What's Lillet Blanc?
Lillet Blanc is a sort of, boy, I'm gonna be talking and I don't know what I'm talking about. I think it's sort of a.
Why should we change anything?
This is true. This is true because I usually don't know what I'm talking about.
Neither of us know what we're talking about.
It's sort of a sweet. I think it might be a sweet fortified wine, aperitif, aperitivo type wine.
Sounds good.
I don't. The Lillet Blanc people are going to be writing me.
Yeah,
sending me
get that organized.
A cease and desist.
Yeah. But then you start off with gin, which is already dangerous. Yeah. I mean, you're in tough territory right away.
Well, and before you strain it into a chilled cocktail glass, you give that glass a rinse with absinthe.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay. So we better get to the movie soon.
Right. Which makes the Henry Fonda. No, I don't know. Something. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Well, I don't either, but I'll drink to it.
How was your week?
My week was good.
Yeah?
Yeah, getting through the life and the times, the crazy times, and doing the stuff.
Last week you said that you might have some news this week, and I've been all of Twitter and on tenterhooks. Do you have it yet?
We do. Yeah. We have a new teaching gig, Amelia and I, at Scott Freeman Studios here in New York. And we start in May.
Fantastic.
With an on-camera audition class that we're really excited about. We'd been wanting to work with the Scott Freeman Studio for a while, and it finally worked out. The timing worked out, and it's exciting. So that's the news.
That's very exciting. As my younger brother would say, fantastisch.
Fantastisch. He sounds like a fun guy.
He is. He's fun to hang out with. I don't really have any news. We did a big photo shoot for our Batch 22 website.
How'd that go?
It went really well. So we've done 2 photo shoots. All of our assets, the way they call them assets now. They don't call them photographs. They call them assets. They're all uploaded, and there's a company working hard on redesigning our new website, which should be up in a few weeks.
Brilliant.
We're getting down to the wire, dealing with last minute calculations, margins, what our profit margins are, bottling costs.
I've already failed at this business endeavor. Just right off. I mean, you started talking about margins. I'm like, I'm not going to make it in business. That's
crazy.
Clear.
But the most exciting thing that happened in the past 2 weeks, I'm going to hold that Save the most exciting for last, like they do on Letterman.
Yeah,
And
you don't wanna lead with the most exciting news.
no. So less exciting television, movies, you watched anything
Boy, what have I seen? What have I
other than
seen?
Timecop, which we'll get to?
We'll get to Timecop. Yeah. I'm trying to think. Nothing's coming to mind. Nothing really extraordinary. Nothing brand new. No, how about yourself? Are you still watching British horror?
I
British,
watched a new British cop show. I know you'll find that hard to believe, called Crime.
oh, even a new one. You're either just jumping around from show to show, or you're binging the hell out of them.
I'm binging the hell out of them, and this one is sort of like if you imagine that the people who made Train Spotting made a cop show.
Oh, I like that idea
It's
very much.
it's pretty interesting. I think you might like this show. Um, so I watched that. I don't think I watched any other movies, although I did see some really terrific shorts this past week
Yeah.
through a really interesting happenstance. Somebody, a woman heard one of the people who watches our show, a woman named Louise Rosinski. She watches the show with her two daughters, Sophia and Alexis, and she got in touch with me because she heard me say something about the booze we're making,
Right.
and so she got in touch because her daughters, Sophia and Alexis, are filmmakers, and the family has a distillery where they make something called uh, aguardiente,
Uh-huh.
um, or aguardiente, which is fire water. It's
Okay.
similar to eau de vie, water of
Ooh,
life,
you've
water
piqued
of
my
fire.
interest. Firewater
Um,
sounds
they make a whole bunch of different varieties of it. Um, and so that this sort of synchronicity of her daughters being so into film, and they've actually started a little film company, and they're making these terrific little shorts.
wow.
And the family has a distillery, and here we are in film and talking about film, and I'm
And
starting a
you've
booze. Yeah. So she
amazing.
got in touch, and we're actually going to meet up in a couple of weeks and exchange our various boozes.
Great.
um, but I went online this morning, to the website for the little production company that her 2 daughters have started. It's called Stella Luna Films, and you can see it at stellalunafilms.com. That's Stella with 2 L's. And, there's a whole bunch of little shorts up there. I watched 3 of them, one called Fairy, one called Maybe, and one called Poker Face, and they are, first of all, they're incredibly well made for people in middle and high school.
Mhm.
Just I teach at a university, and I was astounded at what they were doing, and the storytelling that they were doing. And they're beautiful, but more than the technical ability, the heart and the sense of style and charm that these little short films have is really astounding. Um,
Well, can I see them? Can you send the
you
link?
you can see them. I will send you the link. I will post the link oh, I think I can make a comment of my own, I think.
Whoa. Get out of
Stella
here, really?
Luna Films.com. There. Um, but I can also post that link
We should
in
post
the
it in our social too.
I'll post it in the social. But these films are just so if you're having a down day, I would say these films would cheer you up.
Send it right along.
'Cause they're so incredibly charming.
Great.
Um,
Well,
yeah,
that's nice. That's really cool to hear. I love to hear about young filmmakers making it happen.
and what I'm also looking forward to is, their booze, the
Yeah.
booze that they're pairing
All of
with.
it. I'm looking forward to all of it. The movies, the booze, it's the
Um,
conversation.
uh,
Hopefully they
and
can maybe they'll employ us. We still act. We're
someday,
still
yeah,
available.
in Stella, I mean, not Stella. Stella Luna is Sophia and Alexis, in 10 years or so, when you're making movies out there in the world, and you need somebody to play the old decrepit grandpa and the grumpy uncle, we're available.
Look no further. Look no further.
Yeah, absolutely.
I did have, before we go on, I forgot one cool piece of news. That I did not see a lot of good movies, but I did see some good theater. And went with Mom, who you know from the show, fan of the show, Mom. And our friend Liz,
fan of the show, Mom,
and our friend Liz. We went to see.
This is Louise, I believe, the mother of
Okay, be careful what you wish for. She said, "Oh
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
I don't speak out of turn.
Yeah, we might. So yeah. But
Don't
so, what
I
did you
don't
see
yeah."
with you went with
We
fan of
saw
the
the
show,
new
Mom?
Tracy Letts play called The Minutes, which is on Broadway. It just opened, and I had a great time. Loved that. That was
I hope
great.
the tickets weren't very expensive, because if the shows are that short, then
Uh,
it's got to be longer than just minutes
no, well, it's any length
of
over a
time.
minute
Is
could be
minute?
minutes. It could be very long. In
It could be
fact,
a lot of minutes.
it says minutes plural, so
Oh, okay.
it's about 90 minutes, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
And I saw all of them, all the
All
minutes.
the minutes
Yeah.
in order.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. It took me a second, but yeah, in order.
Awesome.
Meaning consecutively.
Yes.
That's what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was great. Our friend Austin is in the play, and he's great in it.
For people who don't know, our friend Austin is actor, director, and teacher Austin Pendleton.
Who was your teacher at one time? Yes,
Was my teacher at one time. Yeah.
So that was very exciting. That was cool. I'm a big Tracy Letts fan. I
He's
don't know where you fall on
fantastic.
that, but I'm kind of in love with him. And this did not disappoint.
Well, not being disappointed is a big thing these days.
These days, that's bankable. Take
Yeah.
that to the bank.
These days, if something doesn't fall on my head, I feel like, well, I'm not disappointed.
Well, nothing fell on my head.
Yeah. I had a good day.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, that was my little sidebar for the week. That was very exciting for me. Would you like to talk about our new problem, our new film our new issue, or this episode, Timecop? Timecop, the movie?
Top come. Do we want to talk about that movie?
Might as well get into it.
I think we should start talking about next week's movie right away. Let's start talking about that.
And that's great, because we haven't decided what it is. So us deciding what movie could be better than the conversation about the current movie.
I think I've picked the movie for next week, I think.
Well, I can't wait to hear what it is.
I think 1992's Split Second, starring Rutger Hauer, Kim Cattrall, and Pete Postlethwaite.
I'm 100% involved in that. I love that. I couldn't be more excited.
And I think it's another time traveling or looping cop kind of scenario.
That's what we're into right now.
That's what's happening.
What we're seeing. Perfect.
The first movie this month wasn't time traveling. It was just
no,
Metro,
but it was Metro, which took place in another time, which might as well have been time traveling.
It made us want to time travel.
It was a San Francisco from another dimension, at any rate. It didn't exist in real life. Yeah.
All right. So, yeah, I have not seen this movie. I don't know anything about it, but I saw Rutger Hauer, Kim Cattrall, and Pete Postlethwaite and time traveling cop stuff. And 1992.
And you pressed the rental button.
I did.
Yeah.
I think that's what we should be doing.
I'm all in. That's great.
But it's time, I guess, to start talking about. I don't like to swear on the show. People may have noticed. Actually, that's not true. I swear all the time. But tonight, I don't want to swear. So I'm going to say it's Timecop, starring Jean-Claude Van Damme.
We'll just say JCVD, which is the way that.
JC Oh, is
Yeah,
that what he's called now? JCVD?
yeah, that's the hashtag.
That sounds like an inappropriate movie about uh, the Lord and Savior and Mary Magdalene, and
I thought it
something that
sounded like people,
some
like a group of people that work at Best Buy in
JCVD is
1998.
what he got after an inappropriate encounter with Mary Magdalene. Um,
It's interesting. You don't swear, but you say things. You say other things that are actually worse than
incredible.
swearing. It's amazing.
I have no, I think, I think we just got canceled
You
by
don't
a
bring up any
huge
hot button
swath.
issues. You don't talk about anything, that could get you into hot water.
I think we just got canceled by a huge swath of the Bible Belt
Good
right there.
Lord, we apologize. I
Yeah.
apologize.
I don't apologize for nothing.
Oh, listen.
Boy, this corpse revisor.
It's working. It's working wonders. I, at this point, would rather just watch you watch Timecop right now in close up.
That would be pretty good.
Yeah,
That would be better than talking about it.
a couple of corpse revisors and watch Matthew watch Timecop.com.
Okay, so 1994's Timecop starring JCVD, Mia Sara, and Ron Silver. And there is somebody's invented a machine that can send people into the past, and the US government decides that this is really dangerous, so we have to have the time cop force to make sure people don't go back and do things, because it will cause ripples in time that affect the present. You can't
Right.
go into the future, apparently. Although physics says if you can go back, you can go forward.
Not
But
only physics, but this movie says so, because when they go back in time, then they go forward to their present. So you
right,
can go forward in time.
yeah, but you can't go forward to a future that hasn't happened yet, apparently, according to this movie. But if you're in the past, that future hasn't happened yet,
Exactly.
and
So
you
I
can go
call
there. Yeah.
nonsense, Your
Yeah,
Honor.
there you go. And there's a nefarious senator who wants to go back and change things so that he can become president and make the world a better or worse place, depending on how you want to look at it. And he and Jean-Claude Van Damme are at odds, I would say.
They have a difference of opinion.
And some guys come and kill. They go to the past. They come to the past and they kill. This is before the time.
Can I listen? It's simple. Ron Silver's bad guys go back to an earlier time and kill. They think they killed Jean-Claude Van Damme. They kill his wife. They
Yeah,
think they've killed him because he's about to start being a time cop, and they want that to stop because they don't want him to stop them in the future.
because in the future he is trying to stop them. So they
Right.
go back into the past from that future to try and stop him from stopping them.
And they do kill his wife, but they don't kill him. He survives
He survived.
and lives to travel through time another day. And you have to see the movie to see whether he overcomes these obstacles.
What? Oh, suddenly we don't do spoilers?
No, I don't want to spoil this one. There's too many jaw-dropping, synchronistic things that click into place that just amaze you.
Yeah. Um, it Did you have any relationship to this movie or Jean-Claude Van Damme at the time that it came out?
No, and I don't even now. I don't think have one. I've seen probably maybe two Jean-Claude Van Damme movies before this. I don't even know which they were. I think they were Pants of Fury and Smashing Stuff. Smashing Stuff.
Smashing Stuff. That was a
Um,
good one. I
yeah.
didn't see this movie or have any relationship to it. Although I do have to say that I have seen repeatedly in many filmmaking video essays on editing reference one wonderful shot from this movie, or the only wonderful
There is
shot.
one. There is only one shot in this movie. If you want to know the truth, and it is the best thing I've ever seen. So I can understand why they would do it. If it's the same shot we're talking about, are we
Does it
talking about diaper
does it
ballet?
what it?
Are we talking about diaper ballet?
No,
No.
we're not talking about diaper
Oh,
ballet.
because that's the best shot in the movie. I thought you were talking about
You
diaper
mean when
ballet.
he does the split and jumps?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that is
jumps up in a diaper onto a
yeah,
kitchen counter and stays there and looks over his shoulder, kind of like, I dare you.
yeah,
It's
diaper.
amazing.
Yeah, no, the truck shot where he travels through time and they never know exactly where they're going to land, and he lands on a highway right in middle of a right in the middle of a highway in front of a speeding uh semi,
Hmm.
and has to drop into a prone position so the semi can go over
Yeah.
him without obliterating him.
This is used in film study classes.
No, it's in some video essays on YouTube. You see it
Well,
occasionally.
almost anything could be in a video essay on YouTube. Our show it as an example.
Oh, okay. We're digging deep, folks. We're doing what we
Hey,
can.
listen, we decided to do 90s cop month, and it turned into time travel cop month from the 90s, and that's fine. That's great.
Yeah, let's commit to it.
See, I'm confused because I thought that I liked action movies, maybe. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not, it's not my favorite genre, but I thought I liked them. I don't know if I like them, Matthew.
Well, there are some great ones. We've been staying away from some of the great ones.
Well,
I
we
mean,
want to do the less known
yeah, I
stuff.
mean, we could talk. What are we gonna do? We're gonna do Die Hard. Everybody knows
Let's
Die Hard.
talk about Die Hard.
What are we gonna say about Die Hard other than that it's great and has all
Right.
kinds of amazing, iconic moments in it, and we're just gonna sound like drooling, adoring fans.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
really
yeah, come out to the coast, have a good time.
right.
That movie, I could watch that movie 47 times and not get bored. And Hans Gruber's fall
Yeah,
off the
it's good.
Nakatomi Tower is one
And
of the
yet we don't know how to talk about it. We
yeah,
wouldn't know what to say.
no, but bad movies, we have to talk about movies that are worse than we are.
Well, but we don't know that. Time Cop could have been a great experience. Now, let
Really?
me be
Really?
completely frank.
Okay.
This is the best so far for me.
Yes,
I would literally watch Time Cop again. Actually, if somebody was like, I've never seen it, and there was a six pack, I'd be like, tonight, let's watch it. It's
yeah,
ridiculous.
because I wanna see your face when you see
Mhm.
the diaper ballet. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So yeah. So I
Diaper ballet is gonna stay with me, that phrase. It's just
well, why
that's
is he
brilliant.
wearing a diaper? First of all, is that was that underpants for men? And I don't remember those.
Maybe he was having prostate issues,
I think they were Belgian underpants, is what it is. They just wear
Well,
diapery.
you know what Belgian underpants are?
It's my favorite band. What else is it?
Belgian underpants are Unterpanzer,
Yes, true. That
which
is
for those of you who don't know is a reference to one of our favorite TV series, Toast of London,
what I
starring
wouldn't give to see Matt Berry do a Time Cop movie.
Matt Berry would have been excellent in
Or,
this film.
Matt Berry doing almost any movie. I could tolerate that just fine.
Yeah.
So here we
So
have
when this movie came out, Roger Ebert called it a low rent Terminator. I don't think it's a low rent Terminator.
it's low rent, but I don't see
I
that
think it's more like a youth hostel in a bad neighborhood of Bangkok Terminator.
yeah, I don't see Terminator, frankly. That's something I don't get. I mean,
No.
time traveling, yes, but there are no machines. I think he could have done better.
Yeah.
I think it's low rent something.
This is JCVD's highest grossing film?
Not surprised. He finally teamed up with a hot director. Peter Hyams was a well-known director and a cinematographer. We talked about another one of his movies. I forget which one. Do you remember?
No.
Boy, we need an intern really bad.
need
We
an
really
intern.
do, because I don't remember what we should know this. But
If anybody is out there who wants to be an intern and a producer on this show, just let us know. We're in desperate need.
and it's gonna be fun. I
Yeah.
promise you that. It couldn't be more fun
And
thing to do.
we promise that you will make as much money off of this as we do.
Mhm.
Yeah.
For the time being.
Yeah.
Um, so
So,
yeah,
things to talk about with this movie, I wanna start with the hair.
okay. Uh,
Anything to
it
say about that?
about his hair in particular?
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, uh, well, he has a mullet that's a fake mullet for a lot of it.
Mhm.
He has hair extensions.
Oh, wait a sec. I have to interrupt and go back to something because I'm gonna go back to the beginning of the show talking about the movies that, Sophia and Alexis made. What I
Yeah.
forgot to mention is that in one of them, you will like this, and it will make you wanna go run and see it. In fact, you might wanna watch it now and leave me alone to talk about Timecop.
Don't
Um,
tempt me.
William Ostrander stars in the movie Fairy. And if that name isn't ringing a bell for you right now, William Ostrander played Buddy Repperton in another movie that we have done on this show, Christine,
Mhm.
the bad guy with the knife.
Yeah. Okay.
He's a little bit older now, and he gives a wonderful performance in this movie.
What does he
So I just
who does he play?
in no, not in this movie. In
Oh,
the movie
you're
in the
you're
mo
complete you completely jumped the track, and you're talking
no,
about
I jumped
completely
back
something
to the
else.
beginning, the movie that these that
Okay.
Sophia and Alexis made.
Wow, well, I can't wait to see it so I can actually talk to you about it.
Yeah. Well, and you watch it, and we'll talk about it on the show next week.
Okay, I will do it.
Um, but he's in it and gives this wonderful performance.
That's great.
Yeah. So now we can go back to Time Cop. I'm sorry. I just had to
That's
get that in
okay.
there. I was looking at my notes, and I realized I
It was a
forgot to talk
beautifully done
about
segue,
it.
I must say.
It was horrible. It was horrible, but I looked down at my notes, and I saw William Ostrander, and I was like, "Oh my god, I forgot to talk about that part of it." So where we were talking about the hair.
Yeah, okay,
You and I
yeah.
shouldn't be talking about hair, though. We're ones to criticize. I mean, here,
I think,
you know,
I think he had extensions, I mean, they were doing a lot of that back then. Maybe they
yeah.
still do. I should have gotten extensions. I think at this point, it would have been a smart move.
I
Um,
don't think they can extend what we have now.
he, we'll see. I don't know. That's not too late for me. I'm gonna work on it.
Okay.
I mean, we start pretty well. I'm gonna start analyzing the movie. I'm gonna start like we're actually taking this seriously. So, I think that the film starts pretty well with a standalone kind of Raiders of the Lost Ark opening sequence, an action sequence. It takes place during the Civil War, and you're like, oh, I thought I was seeing Time Cop, but this is a Civil War era kind of Western we're looking at. And this guy robs a bunch of guys on horseback, and it turns out he's from the future. He pulls out machine guns and he shoots them all. Not a terrible performance from that gunman. I thought he was pretty good.
Yeah.
The movie looks really good because it's shot by Peter Hyams, who knows how to shoot a movie. It looks good. And then we go to Washington, 100 years later, and it's like, wow, okay, great. That's great. We got Scott Lawrence playing the same role he's played now for 30 years
Yeah.
and playing it
Which is
as
he's
well.
wonderful.
Oh, he's brilliant, but I'm saying like when we recast it, he's recast as the same part because he can still play exactly that part.
Yeah.
Um, and there's a conference with senators about this this issue about time travel and what are they going to do. It's very serious. It's more serious than the atomic bomb. It's a big deal.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, great. You're moving this along. It's goofy fun. And then we get to Mia Sara at a mall. This is kind of back when malls were interesting. Like people thought that malls themselves were interesting places to go and be and talk about and put in movies and stuff.
Yeah. In Irvine, where I live, they still think malls are interesting.
Maybe it's still a thing, elsewhere, just not a New York thing.
Yeah.
But anyway, they treat it like it's a mall, it's amazing, and she's looking at a clock store. So we're dealing with
Oh,
themes, visual
I
motifs
I
right
get
away,
it.
you know?
I get it. A clock, because they measure time.
They measure time, time comp, time travel. It's evoked by the imagery of the clocks, and so we're like, okay, we're in good hands here. The creative team is building thematic layers, and then Jean-Claude opens his mouth and starts to say things, and you're like, what happened?
And all things fall apart.
Immediately. I mean, we start with his first line, the first non-political line spoken in the movie is, "There's never enough time to satisfy a woman.
Yeah.
There's never enough time to satisfy a woman," is what he says. Um,
You could loop him.
I would love to try.
I think that would be
He works
amazing.
all the time, so I can make a lot of money. Soon after that is my favorite line in the movie. I know we're jumping ahead. I just want to start this. I want to ignite this with a little gasoline. I want to throw a little fire on this and say my
Okay.
favorite line is him saying, "I know all the good words."
I know all.
I just laughed for 20 minutes. Stop the movie. I love it.
Well, there's some great dialogue where they're she has some news to tell him.
Which you're like,
Uh,
what is this new? I wonder
what
what
could the
could it
news
be?
possibly be? The wife has some the wife who we think might die soon has some really important news to tell the
That she
husband.
just can't tell him at any it can't just be like at the mall. I can't tell you now. We gotta have a
No.
special time to tell you this. I wonder
But
what it
then he
could
gets
be,
a
man.
call and he has to go. And she says, "Do you have to go? Stay. I have this news I want to tell you." And we have brilliant dialogue following that.
Yeah.
He says, "I don't have a choice." And she says, "Of course you have a choice." And he says, "This is what I do." I've never heard anything like that in a cop movie before.
No.
No.
I've never heard her like, he has another good line about it where she says, or even before that, he goes, "I had a meeting with Matusak, my boss, for the new job." And she says, "Are you gonna take it?" As if you have a choice in the police department, whether that's the
Right.
first thing.
Yeah.
You're like, you're gonna do the job they tell you to do in the police department. You're like, "No, I don't want to be a time cop." Well,
Yeah.
like, you're fired then because we want a time cop.
Yeah. And
So
it's the name of the
he
movie.
doesn't say that to her, but he does say, she goes, "Is it dangerous?" And he goes, and he says, "I don't bake cookies for a living," which is
Yeah.
disparaging to bakers and to people that do other things but kick ass, because there are other jobs
Yeah. That are important.
that are
Cook
important. Not kicking ass
cookies
isn't the
bring
only
joy.
important job,
No, cookies bring joy. Um,
and it can be it's you can burn yourself.
yeah. I will say the movie is a little bit prescient, though, with the Ron Silver character running for president,
Little Trumpy.
little Trumpy, and the whole white supremacist thing being mentioned. It was like,
Yeah,
whoa,
there
that's
were a couple of
interesting.
interesting things. Not
And
nearly as prescient as the fact that they knew that we'd all be driving cars from Logan's Run, even though everything looks normal other than your car.
right, because 10 years in the future,
Mm.
that was weird to me that we jump forward 10 years and it's like nothing has changed except the cars, and the cars look like they're from 150 years in the future.
They're like what we thought in 1963 the cars of the future would be. They're literally like giant blocks of white
Yeah,
styrofoam that like drive it's bad. It's bad.
self-driving. Yeah, it's very bad. And if what they were doing in that was saying that there was some sort of time travel thing that caused that, they didn't explain it and capitalize on
I'm
it.
gonna go out on a limb and say that's not what they were saying because they didn't say it. They didn't.
They didn't. Okay. But maybe that got cut.
Sure, why
Or we
not?
didn't hear it because
That's
of an
always what we
explosion.
say to save face.
Yeah. Um, couple of things, in a movie that's supposed to have like, he's a fighter, right? Jean-Claude Van Damme, that's his whole claim to fame is that
What do you
he's
mean
a martial
as an
art
act? He's a martial artist. He's a kickboxer.
kickboxer. The the fighting in this movie looked like the worst. You brought up Universal Studios last week. The stuff in this movie looked like a Universal Studios ride gone
Kinda did.
bad.
Yeah.
First of all, we have a sword fight or a knife fight that's like a sword fight, where they're
Yeah.
fighting with knives as if they're swords.
Yeah, they're like about 3-inch
here.
blades, like
Yeah.
butter knives.
Clanging
Yeah.
the blades as if they're
That's how you
swords.
do it.
Yeah, which was the dumbest thing I've ever seen. And the fight in the warehouse, where he jumps off the forklift right as the explosion happens, it really just looked like we're at Universal Studios on a Sunday afternoon
It's the
with the kids.
that was particularly funny moment because they're trying to sell this big action beat that is like all this action has been running and explosions and shooting, and then he gets up on a cherry picker to get up to this higher level of the factory to kill somebody, and he hits the button and it goes it like takes 8 minutes for him to get up there. It's the worst action beat. It's so bad. Can I
Okay.
just say I counted literally 6 people go through windows in this movie. 6 times. People go crashing through a window.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Did you like there was another great moment where he has to go into the hospital to steal some of Gloria Rubin's blood to prove that she was back there. It's a weird moment, right? But he
Yeah.
goes into the hospital and he goes to where they keep the blood from the
Yeah.
people who are in the patients in the hospital. And he picks up the vial of Gloria Rubin's blood, and it's like, oh, I've got the thing that I need to bring Back to the Future with me to prove that Ron Silver is a bad guy and that she's a witness.
Yeah.
And then he sees another vial of blood with his wife's name on it.
Yeah.
And there he does a bad acting class dropping of the vial of Gloria Rubin's blood when he sees his,
Yeah. I
because
hate
he's
to say it, but he does a bad acting class version of everything in this movie that has to do with the
be
acting.
careful. He's a kickboxer, man. He will beat you up.
Anybody that I've picked on this show could beat me up. Let's be honest. Anybody.
That's true. Yeah.
And I actually, I kid. I'm a kidder. I enjoyed this movie. I had a good time. It's ridiculous. I think he tries his best. I think he's endearing. I think that he is good at kicking people in the face. And I want to give him a shot. He's kind of like, it's kind of like you got Schwarzenegger and Stallone, were kind of like the Rolling Stones and the Beatles. He's like the Kinks. Didn't quite get enough love, but
Okay.
I want to help support.
All right. What about the scene where Gloria Rubin betrays him, right? She's supposed to be his new partner and she betrays him and for all intents and purposes tries to get him killed. Then she gets injured and ends up in the hospital and they're reunited. And when they're reunited, it's almost like, are you okay? Like there's no reference to the fact that she betrayed him and tried to kill him.
No, although she does apologize and say, I guess I was on the wrong side.
Nice. Yeah, that's good. Oh, yeah, okay, then I'll let her go. If you try to kill me and then you apologize, that's good enough.
Right. I have a couple of questions.
Okay.
I mean, my first question had to do with did I forget that men's underpants were diapers in the 90s? You didn't have an answer, so I'll just table that. In the same scene that he's wearing diapers, and that's all he's wearing, he's asleep on his couch in his apartment after a hard night of drinking.
Right.
And I don't know, have you ever seen somebody sleep naked on their leather couch? Like, I just found that to be
No, you don't do it
extremely
naked.
uncomfortable looking. Even if you were passed out, you'd get a blanket of some kind, I think.
I think it says on the tag on leather
Yeah,
couches
don't
to
sleep
not
naked
sleep
on this.
naked on this
Yeah.
because you'll wake up sticky.
And if you're wearing a diaper, put a bathrobe on and sleep on the couch.
No, you don't sleep naked on a leather couch.
Okay, that was my first. That was the one question.
Okay.
Another question. So when you have water on the floor and you have a taser and you're gonna electrocute somebody who's in the water, do you get electrocuted if you're wearing big shoes, or if you're barefoot? I thought it was if you were barefoot and standing in water, you got electrocuted. But if
No, I think unless you're wearing something that's like really insulated, I think you would. I think you'd get electrocuted. Like,
all right, well, neither of us clearly have a science background.
If there's a power line down, I wouldn't walk into a puddle that power line was in.
Oh,
Even
I wouldn't either. But this is a taser. I think that anyway.
No, it's a super future taser, though.
Is it similar to the science that says you can carbon date gold, which they say in this movie?
You could carbon date.
No, you can't
gold
carbon date gold
if it is poorly smelted and has impurities in it. You could maybe carbon date it, but I'm reaching.
You are reaching. Okay, all right. So we both.
But I don't think you. I think you carbon date. I think the thing that gets carbon dated are
things with carbon in it. Organic forms of life, yes.
Okay.
Did I say 6 people go through windows? They do.
You did. What else?
How much do you love the kid with the parrot who takes their picture in the mall?
Oh my God. Somebody's cousin.
I just love that kid. I love that part. I was so happy whenever he came on screen.
I have a couple of. Are you done with the bad stuff? The questions? You have more questions?
Never. I'm never done.
Okay, keep asking questions.
No, I think I have asked.
I have a list of a couple of things that I thought were kind of cool that I would have liked to have seen in a better movie.
I do too. What's your favorite scene? Or the actual scene that you think is actually?
I don't have a scene that I think is good. I have brief moments that I thought were cool. Little things that I thought were cool.
Okay.
The scar appearing on Ron Silver's face when there's 2 of him at the same time in the same scene, and the younger one gets smacked in the face and really brutally cut appears, and we see the older Ron Silver and a scar appears on his face. I thought that was a cool idea. The frozen arm shattering, I loved that.
That was pretty good.
The guy whose arm gets blasted with the liquid nitrogen when a hose breaks and then he falls. Yeah, thought that was terrific.
That was one of the earliest versions of that gag. I've seen that gag in things before, but this might be the first time.
Yeah, and I thought it was pretty well done.
Couldn't happen to a nicer guy.
No. As I've already said, appearing in front of the truck, I thought that was a cool shot. And Ron Silver's demise at the end of the movie, I thought was pretty cool.
That was not bad. That was pretty cool.
For
early CGI, it wasn't bad.
Yeah.
I have a question for you. Did you think, like I did, that the henchman, the big henchman, was Howard Stern for a few minutes? Because I was like, why did they send Howard Stern to go after this guy?
I love that.
They were the goofiest bad guys, the new wave bad guys with the flock of seagulls haircuts and the
and not guys you would hire to do this.
Well, they
if you're a
certainly weren't
senator.
clandestine. They weren't trying to keep a low profile.
No.
Um, I think I have a scene that I actually think is a good scene.
I have to go get a drink. You keep talking. I'll
I
be
think
back.
you might agree with me. I think
All
there's
right.
actually a scene in it that has a little bit of life to it, and it's kind of cool. It's a little bit like the Civil War scene, which I also think isn't a bad way to start the movie. But I thought the Wall Street 1929 sequence wasn't terrible. When we follow Mr. Atwood, played by Jason Schoming, into the building, and he goes upstairs to his office very happily because Wall Street's just collapsed and a person's just jumped off the building, but he's in a great mood. And he goes in to the building and goes into his office and takes out a newspaper, and it's USA Today from like
Yeah.
1990 something. And
Yeah.
he takes out a Walkman with headphones and he puts it on and he starts listening to some punk rock as he's looking at these newspapers from today, present day in 1929, and he's trying to rig the game and find out where to get money and move money to make money later in the future. I thought that was really clever. It probably would have been a better way to start the movie, though. Like that
Right.
would have been a freaking great opening, but here it was in the middle of the movie. Jason Schoming, I thought, was pretty good in that part, and I actually thought that was that was pretty good.
I'll go along with that. And I also they actually did a fun thing in that where he he says he's not going to when Van Damme says he's going to take him back and he won't go back because they'll kill my family, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So he jumps out the window and Van Damme jumps out the window, goes out the window with him, and they're falling, and he's going to hit the time thing to save them. And he does. And the cop out in front of the building is watching them fall, and then they vanish. And then they convict, back in present day, they convict him to death, and the way they kill him is they send him back in time alone to finish that fall. And so the cop seeing him vanish actually doesn't happen. That cop sees him vanish, but then it happens again and he just sees him fall. And I thought that was
Right.
an interesting play on
The
that.
only
That
thing
was,
missing from that moment was for the cop to take out a pint of whiskey out of his vest and look at it and shake his head and like throw it into the garbage because
Yeah,
they used to do that in every movie.
right. I got to stop.
I'm never going to take another drink of that in my life.
Right. There's other big problems.
Come on.
His character is no, but they get to the end of the movie with all the time. He's a time cop, right? He knows
Yeah.
that you do stuff in the past and it affects stuff in the future. He's gone back in time and he has seen that when his wife died, she was pregnant. So he knows that. Then he goes back and he fixes everything. He's victorious at the end of the movie. He comes back to the present day, and it's as if he's completely surprised at everything that happens. He would know. He's surprised.
I think he was trying to play, happiness, but he just looks, it's Jean-Claude Van Damme, so he just looks mildly surprised all the time.
No, but he gets surprised that the senator disappeared 10 years ago. But he knows the senator disappeared 10 years ago because he went back in time and killed him 10 years ago.
You're at a very subtle level here. You're thinking at a very subtle acting class level about things I don't think they thought about.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if they thought about that.
All right.
He's wearing a diaper, Matthew, and he does a split.
So there's a scene in this movie that surprised me where there's quite a bit of nudity for a brief moment.
Oh,
yeah.
Like what?
Do you know the story behind that?
I clearly Tommy Wiseau stole everything from that love scene because it's the same butt crack shot.
No, not that scene. The scene with the computer guy. Who
Oh, you mean the one they
who's
stole from Brainstorm?
in virtual reality looking at a woman on the
Yeah.
bed in virtual reality. Do you know how that scene came about?
Well, did they steal it from Brainstorm, or did Brainstorm steal it from this movie?
No, there was a whole scene, a whole other scene written with some
Oh,
actual
yes.
documentary footage about beavers,
Yes.
and they were supposed to shoot it, but the crew went out to a strip club and got completely plastered and
Yeah.
overslept and wasn't able to shoot that scene. So they got one of the strippers or something like that and
Yeah,
shot the scene instead.
to do that. Yeah, this is the kind of film we're talking about. Yeah, it's a pretty good story. I'd rather kind of see a movie about that group of filmmakers making that mistake
That
than
crew.
this.
I want to hang out with that crew. That's a good crew.
You know, we got some really great actors in here in this movie. Once again, like, you know, let's just go through the roll call here. We've got
Bruce McGill.
Bruce McGill right out of the gate. We got Kenneth Welsh.
Yep.
We got Scott Lawrence.
Yep.
We got,
Fantastic.
you know, to a certain degree, we got Ron Silver, Kevin McNulty. Now, Ron Silver is, you know, arguably you shouldn't quite let him choose much furniture. Maybe rein it in a little bit. But I thought he was an effective bad guy, you know?
He was
Very
good.
effective.
Yeah.
Um,
Stephen Lambert, who's also a stuntman,
yeah.
was pretty good.
Stephen Lambert was. He was good.
And Jean-Claude Van Damme, who, you know, as Dorothy Parker once said about Katharine Hepburn, he runs the gamut of emotions from A to B.
Yes. And, you know, he wears diapers. He does a ballet split in diapers.
You really have trouble with the diapers.
I don't have trouble with it. It's astounding. It's an amazing moment in film history.
Okay, what's the double feature? What are you going to double feature with this movie?
I guess I'm just I couldn't really come up with anything other than Minority Report. It was like,
Okay.
you know.
Yeah, I went in the same direction with Predestination.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
Same kind of loopy loops.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could have done. No, I think Minority Report.
I think Minority Report's better than Predestination.
How would you? What would be your ideal way to see this film, Matthew?
Backwards.
Oh, good. Okay,
I would watch it backwards. Yeah, drunk and backwards.
Okay.
And looking over my shoulder in diapers.
Okay. Wow, there's a lot of specifics to that. My choice was I thought it would be best to see it on cable at 2 in the afternoon after you get fired from a job.
That's excellent. Who are we?
Who are we? You know, this was tough. There were a lot of places we could slot in there.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to go with my initial call on this and say that you are Parker, played by Kevin McNulty. You are the scientist who he steals everything from and kills in the factory.
Okay. All right. And you?
And I think that I'm the 1929 guy who plunges out of the window in 1929.
Oh, okay.
Boy, you don't seem enthused at that at all. I got it wrong.
I had us as different people. I have more respect for you, I guess.
What are you talking about? You had me as Jean-Claude Van Damme. Stop it.
No, I made you Ricky, the computer guy. Fun computer guy.
That's true. The tattoos would give me that job in a heartbeat.
Yeah. And I made myself the boring role of Kenneth Welsh.
I thought that was a possibility, but it's a better scene. The scene with Parker is a better scene. You're more to play.
Yes. Yeah.
That's what I think.
I didn't feel up to it. How would you recast Jean-Claude Van Damme and Ron Silver?
I've got good ones, my friend.
I think I do too. Who do you have?
As Jean-Claude Van Damme, Mads Mikkelsen.
Oh, wow. That's well, and I sent you that video of Max
Yeah.
Mikkelsen, right?
Yeah.
I thought your response to that was excellent. For those of you listening, I sent Tony a link to a YouTube video that I saw. I think it was called Mads Mikkelsen being himself for 3.5 minutes.
Yes, that was the title.
And it's just him like in interviews and doing stuff. And Tony's response was, I'd like to be 1/10 of that guy.
Yeah. Just
Yeah.
coolest guy.
Yeah. Oh, Tony went away. He's left me completely alone. I'll try to entertain you. I'm gonna sing a little song. No, I'm not gonna sing a song. I'm just gonna sit here and hope desperately that he comes back. Did I offend you
I
somehow?
don't know. Like, the computer went crazy. I didn't touch anything.
You left me all alone.
It was weird. I did.
It was terrifying.
Ha ha. Ha ha.
And okay, so Mads Mikkelsen, that's excellent.
Who was your choice?
Jackie Chan.
Oh, good. Okay. Jackie Chan.
Well,
Yeah.
but because of who I paired him with. I paired him with somebody that I'd really like to see the two of them.
Who
in
did you
this
pair
movie.
with?
As Ron Silver, Al Pacino.
Oh my God, that's fantastic. I put Mads Mikkelsen up against Paul Giamatti as Ron Silver.
Oh, excellent. Excellent. I would go to see mine would be another bad movie.
Okay, yeah.
Yours would actually maybe this movie as a
Yeah.
good movie.
I want to see if we can make it into a good movie here. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Because
Alright.
then I also cast Michelle Monaghan in the Mia Sara part.
Ah, yeah. Okay. I'm with that.
And you're gonna love who I cast as Fielding. You're gonna love it.
Which one was Fielding?
The woman who's the traitor.
Oh, okay. Gloria Reuben.
Yeah, Sarah Stiles.
Oh, yeah. Yes. I love Sarah Stiles in anything, though.
Well, she's great. That's why I thought she'd be good in this. But I think she'd be good at you wouldn't believe that she was bad. You would never believe Sarah Stiles was actually the bad guy.
No.
Was actually being bad.
No.
And it would be a big surprise. And she's a good actress. So there you
I
go.
thought Gloria Reuben actually did a really nice job.
She was actually good. I will, you're right. It should be mentioned. She's probably doing the best work in the movie from an acting standpoint.
Kind of a thankless movie everywhere, and she pulls it off.
She's very natural in it, and doesn't overdo it. She's quite good.
Yeah. Well, I'm out of notes.
I was making notes up as I was talking to you because this is clearly not a movie that there's a lot to discuss, but I can highly recommend it. I honestly recommend it over any of the action movies we've seen in this month. This is the one that I would say so far, pound for pound, ridiculously entertaining. Brian Jesuit. I think that Ron Silver is truly one of the world's great actors. He is great. He has been great in some stuff for sure.
Yeah. And I remember gone way too soon.
Gone far too soon. I remember, what was it? Presumed Innocent was one of his big. Was that not Presumed Innocent? I'm getting the title wrong.
Blue Steel.
Well, there was Blue Steel, of course.
Played a bad guy in Blue Steel.
But there was one film that Reversal of Fortune.
Yes.
That was great. He was wonderful in that movie.
Yeah.
You look,
Jeremy Irons, right?
Yes. So, good for Ron Silver. He has a really creepy moment in the car, in that modern techno car, where he smashes his assistant's face into the side of the car. Yeah. And then he's like, would you like some nuts? He's eating some nuts out of a dish. And he's like, you want some? And he's like, no, because my face is bleeding. And he's like, oh, whatever.
That's another role that I thought you or I could have been playing.
Yeah. Yeah. That's more realistic than anybody with lines.
Oh my goodness.
Hey, look at what shirt you got on.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yep.
Very nice.
I think
those can be purchased. Yes.
There's one of these shirts in the world, I think.
We don't have a store where you can buy that T-shirt.
I don't know. We might. I'm not
We
sure.
don't know if we have a store. That's terrible. What?
I tell you, I'm
Whatever.
telling you, we need a producer.
Wow, we don't even know if we have a store.
We need a producer. We need somebody to, help us out here. If we had a producer, they could be sitting in the virtual green room, right?
If we had a producer and they heard both of us on television say we didn't know if we had a store, they would stop being our producer.
That's true.
They would quit the show.
But if they were in the virtual green room, they could then be typing away and feeding us information.
Right. And they could type in and say, Tony, this isn't television. This is just YouTube.
Yeah.
But still, I'm quitting because you're both idiots.
But you know who I bet had a great time tonight? Fan of the show, Mom.
Well, I hope so.
I think that's how I'm going to refer to her from now on. I'm going
fan of the show, Mom.
Say, hi, fan of the show, Mom.
I'm sure I'm sure there's aspects of it she enjoyed because being her kids, she probably likes to see her kids. I think I don't want to assume she's going to say every episode is good. She may let us know tomorrow. We did not hit this one out of the park. I don't know. I fully accept that.
But speaking as a parent, I can say that anytime you see your child and they're not on a slab in a morgue, you're happy to see them.
Oh, okay. That's a heavy, again, a little heavier thought than I was. Thought I wouldn't have. Well, okay. As long as you didn't curse or say any naughty words.
Yeah, there you go. Somebody says, yes, fellas, you have a store, and I purchased a couple of teas for summer. My goodness, and we didn't see it. I have to go find this store.
Camille, my next question is, are you our producer? Because clearly I don't know anything. Wow. Well, I got to get one of those shirts, that's for sure.
Oh my goodness, I'm terrified. Well, there you go.
This has been highly entertaining.
Yes. So next week, Split Second from 1992, starring Rutger Hauer, Kim Cattrall, Pete Postlethwaite, and I believe that it is. Oh, Camille Renner wants to know what my good news. I don't have any good news this week. I just, my life has just been going along as usual. Unless you know something I don't, Camille. If there's good news for me, please share it.
Good news is you get to do a show.
And I'm not on a slab. I'm not on a slab in a morgue.
No,
so
you're drinking but you are drinking a corpse reviver.
Maybe I was
reviser.
I was on a slab in a morgue, and then I drank the corpse reviver.
You're back. You're back.
All right. So
excellent.
I believe that Split Second is available on Amazon Prime, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, you will.
Oh my gosh. I have to find the end credits, and there they are. Good night.
It's all gonna go okay. Okay, good night.